Hello, I'm Chad Giesel, and I'm going to talk about medieval torture devices. Sounds kind of like a different topic, I'm sure. Like, I know my group, they kind of gave honest criticism about my previous topic, so I thought I'd change it. And this just kind of, just interested me, and I figured everybody kind of has this weird interest in like painful things and stuff, and so I figured it's kind of like a universal topic of interest. And I don't think it's another like history topic, and I don't think many people know about it. So dictionary.com defined torture as the act of inflicting excruciating pain as punishment or revenge, or as a means of getting confession or information, or for sheer cruelty. And many of the times in the medieval times, the people that were tortured generally committed some kind of crime, and then depending on what crime they committed, that was kind of like the level of torture they received. And then there was usually an audience that got to see it, so it's kind of weird to say, but I kind of wish I could have been in an audience like of that time just to like see something like that. It's kind of sick, but whatever. Does anybody know what that is?
I don't want to know.
No? Okay. So you can go on. That is called the Pear of Anguish.
Oh.
And it's pear-shaped, and it has those 4 metal leaves on it, and like a hinge at the top, and then with a key. And I'm just gonna say, like, use your imagination with that one, because this is a pretty sick one. But basically, you crank the key and it opens up, and could cause a lot of pain if used properly. So, my next one is the Iron Maiden. You may have seen this one. It's a giant sarcophagus, and like you step inside, and there's spikes on it, and then they close the spike doors, and you can imagine the rest there. But I was reading how like usually there was 2 like spikes specifically for the eyes too, so it would close and like 2 would go right into your eyes, and then like the rest would close in a way that it would like pierce your vital organs, but like they made the spike short so that like you kind of lived a little while in pain, so it kind of was like, it wasn't just like an instant like close the doors, you're dead type deal. It was like you just sat there like you know, freaking out or whatever. Alright, so this one's honestly my personal favorite. I feel, again, kind of evil saying that, but it's pretty awesome, I think. So it's a bowl, and it's a brass bowl, and it's hollow on the inside. You can tell from the picture what happens, but basically they open a door like in the back of it or whatever, and they stick you in a bowl, and then they put a fire under you, and they pretty much just like cook you alive in the bowl. And so yeah, then I read this one thing where they sometimes would like put like 2 iron like hot iron things on the tongue, like, and then put them in there, and then like the people would scream in there, obviously. And so since it was like a bull, it was supposed to like kind of imitate actual like the idea was that it like kind of sounded like an actual bull, like because people were screaming, but it was like hollow and closed, so then like the noises it made sounded like could have been like a real bull. So anyway, yeah, that's that one. This one is not fatal. This one's a little lighter, but this is on thumb screws, and basically what you would do is you'd like stick your thumbs right in here, and then like somebody would just crank this top part, and like this thing would like lower down onto your thumbs, and this was just like really painful, and yeah, it just kind of was like, it was just like a medieval torture device just to like cause a lot of pain, but it wasn't like a fatal kind of one that like, so I guess this was more for like confessions and whatnot, but this one's pretty sick. This one's called the rack, and this one kind of came in a bunch of different forms, but you're basically tied down. You might have like, maybe you haven't seen it, but like heard of like the ones where like people are like tied to a horse, and then the horses go all different, they all run a different direction, while your like arms are tied to them. It's kind of like that, but you're just laying in a machine, and then like somebody would like these things would like crank it, so like you have like 4 different people like cranking you, or okay, and so like yeah, you're basically just being like stretched out, and like you're eventually they would pull you till like your joints dislocated, and then if they pulled you hard enough, I guess they could rip your arms off. So that's pretty nasty. Oh, real quick, but they would sometimes put like a fire under it too, just to like add to like the pain of it, because like you're already getting pulled out, then you're getting burned, like so. They were pretty sick back then, the torture ways. This one, the wheel, this one was kind of like that, except this one was basically just with like the fire. They tied you to a wheel, and you would just kind of like freely like rotate like around, and there'd be like a fire under you or something, or maybe spikes under you, and like you just rotate around and like scrape on them, or like, you know, feel the flames and whatnot. So yeah, that one was pretty sick. This one is pretty basic, the stake. This is just like being burned at the stake. I'm sure you've heard of this. It's a pretty common one. But yeah, so the fire does all the work for this one. It's pretty simple. But apparently if it was like windy enough, it could like, it takes you, like apparently it took people like around 30 minutes to like become unconscious for this. So that's already terrible if you're getting burned and it takes 30 minutes to like lose consciousness. But then if it was windy, I read like it could take up to like 2 hours for like somebody to pass out. So that's also pretty nasty. This one was just the pillory, which is like you're like hanging there. Like I'm sure you've seen this as kind of like just a restraining thing. And this was more for like to shame a person or embarrass them. But then like sometimes this one was kind of cool because it really depended on like what the audience was like and like the crowd was like, because if they were in like a bad mood, like they could throw things at you obviously, so like that could vary from like, you know, rotten vegetables to like stones or something. So you could die from this one, but like kind of just depended on what the crowd was like. This one's pretty nasty. This one you just like you like get in a crouch, it's kind of hard to explain, but you get in a crouch position in that thing, and basically like these 2 things, like you like pull this thing up, and like these 2 things like close on you. So it basically just like, you're like crouched down, and it eventually just like compresses you till like some ribs and stuff break. And then it's just never good from there.
Thank you.
Yeah.